Hi, welcome back to the Spirit's Path. This is Dee, and today's tarot card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot deck is the King of Stones and the Wolf. And I really like this card, because yesterday we were talking about being generous with, resources, time, whatever it is. And then this card pops up, and, for me, this is the king of the resources. This is the king of financials. This is king of stability. This is the king of security. Okay. And as I like to talk about, with the court cards, this king rules the kingdom. Okay. And he's a great advisor when it comes to materialism, security, stability, finances, right? And the other thing that's really great about this card, okay, with the wolf is they are ruthless trackers and hunters. Even though they love the land and the world, this just means that your attitude is going to be ruthless as a tracker and hunter, okay, for your stability, for your security, for your materialism, okay, where you don't have to worry about this 5 of arrows and getting you off the mark. It may not come in today, but down the road, okay, the seeds that you're planting now, all right, the plans that you have set in motion will come to fruition, all right? And the other thing about this card, the King of Stones and the Wolf, its symbolicness is being the guardian of the dead on their journey to the underworld. Now, I'm not saying that, those that have passed on, need that journey. But for our journey, for our spiritual journey as we're moving forward, he's going to guard you, like most kings do. But, he's really going to look at the aspect of saying, you know what? Through all the seasons, through all the moon phases, I'm going to be there with him. And this wolf is going to be with you here for the next, 7 days. So, as I like to look at the, the different characteristics of this card, the court card, if we look at a person that's in your life or possibly even you, okay, this is somebody who's going to be a very mature individual, all right? With most kings, they're mature individuals, but this one is going to be especially mature and grounded and, knows the facts of what's going on. Pragmatic, steadfast, they're going to offer security and stability. So anybody that comes into his kingdom, it's kind of like a Camelot situation where, Arthur just welcomes everybody. He welcomes everybody. This wolf welcomes everybody into the castle, right? Into his kingdom. Okay. So if this is somebody that's, a person in your life or possibly you are bringing people into your life to help you move forward, right? With that stability, security, materialism. All right. Very natural businessman. Okay, so you could be dealing with somebody, out in the business world, or maybe you've got that business mind, right? And they can be relied on to keep the promises. If this wolf promises you, you're going to make some money, guess what? It's going to happen. Okay. If somebody, you've invested in is saying, you know what? Market's not good right now. Just hold true. And you're listening to that advice, and then the market takes off. Boom. Now you've got some stability, some security, right? If this is an aspect, okay, it's appreciating the good things in life. And we talked a little bit about that yesterday. This generosity card, is being grateful and being generous of what you do have. Okay, so if we can appreciate the good things in life, having a house, having a vehicle, having, family that supports us, having the ability to, have a phone in our hand, right? Those types of things, those are the aspects of the, the King of Stones and the Wolf. And just learning how to handle money, not spending, thriftily, spending thriftily, but not spending, with all, with carefree abandon, right? It's not really pinching the pennies, but yet at the same time, it's like, do I really need that Starbucks today, right? Learning how to handle that money, or, instead of, buying that, $15 steak, maybe you can get 2 steaks for $6, each. That's $12, right? That goes a little bit, further down the line, all right? Looking for the sales, learning how to handle the money, right? If this is an event, it's going to be something where there's a estate sale or a land sale somewhere, something that'll, have some stability in the process of getting, whatever your money will buy. All right? Could be health. Are you stable in your health? Maybe there's a health event, a free fare to, get yourself checked out or something like that. And, nowadays is people look for mentors and stuff like that. It's financial support. Going to the bank and seeing if you can, reduce the, the mortgage rate on your home. Looking at, different options on car opportunities, things on that nature. It's just, that financial support. Now, the 2 questions, court cards always ask is, what advice gives you the best security? That's what this wolf is asking you. Okay. So, here you are walking along, you drank out of the waters of life, and that card just fell off. You've done some healing. I'm thinking it's more spiritual healing than it is financial healing as we're moving along, because you got the green man here. You've done some inner strength work with the Woodward. You've got that kingship, the mantle of kingship from the green man here, the horn of plenty, in the cauldron of plenty. And then we had some frustration came in where we got a little excited, all right? And then that excitement turned to anger and fear, which, never works, all right? And, you've calmed your breathing down. You've gotten back into doing things, okay? And then a Knight of Arrows showed up. And he's asking, what do you need to stand up for, all right? And you're letting the wolf know, hey, I'm standing up for my own personal security, my own personal manifestation, my own personal materialism, security, stability, because I don't want to go back to feeling a lack, right? I want to continue moving forward. And the wolf looks at you and goes, okay, so what is your plan? What advice do you want to hear from me that gives you that best security? Okay. And you say, you know what? I think I just need to go back to the giving, being generous with what I do have, and, whenever I do that, I feel really good. And he looks at that and he says, that's a great decision. You should do more of that, while you're out and about, helping, the community out with your time and resources. And, that wolf just, you got the advice that you wanted to hear. Okay, the other question he asks is, where is life offering you its riches? Now, when we talk about riches, most people think money, right? Oh, I'm going to hit the lottery. But riches can also be, what's your spiritual connection? What's your connection with family? What about your home? Your yard, nature. Where is life offering you its riches as you're moving forward? Okay. And the knight is looking at that Knight of Arrows is saying, okay, I need to stand up for what I have and what's around me. But the other question that this knight asks is, where might you be wrongly informed? This king is looking at it and say, it's nice to be generous and grateful for what you have, but look above and beyond the bigger picture, like this hawk. As the hawk is up there and it's looking down, it's saying there's more to life than just your 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot space. Actually, 3 by 3 by, let's go 7 foot, right? There's more to life than just that, your own personal space. Look at everything that's around you. Take that perspective, all right? And, be grateful for where you're at. That's what this king is saying. Where is life offering you its riches? It's not necessarily, the money piece of it. Do you have a secure job? Do you have a secure house? Do you have a secure relationship? Are you stable, right? Mentally, physically, emotionally. Those are the types of riches that are happening, okay? Especially on the spiritual journey that you're on. Because if you're stable in that spiritual journey, you have that universal connection, and you're talking with your spirit guides, guess what? The universe, spirit, your guides, they're going to reward you with bigger riches than just financial, right? So that's today's message of the day, the tarot card message of the day, the King of Stones and the Wolf. Hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, share it with others, and give me a thumbs up. And this is D for Spirit's Path. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care, God bless, and stay safe, everybody.